Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
We welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Tuesday, February 1st. It is the first Tuesday of the month. Actually, it's the first day of the month. And first Tuesdays is our Feel the Zeal Thursday. We spotlight the city of Zeeland. We'll have the Master Gardener, Jan Musen, join us from the Bryant Seed in Zeeland after the 10 o'clock news. But in our segment now, we are joined by the mayor of the city of Zeeland, Kevin Klynstra, joining us from his office in Zeeland City Hall. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Gary.
Glad you are with us. And if you have a question about the city of Zeeland, Kevin will be happy to answer it at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. Kevin, I'm going to start first by throwing you a little bit of a curveball. We touched upon this a little bit earlier, and I've really not had a chance to go too deep into this particular subject. The Makatawa Area Coordinating Council still looking for a new administrator, basically a new operational head. As one of the members of the executive committee, of people basically running the policy committee, Kevin, where are we standing on getting somebody new in to run the Makatawa Area Coordinating Council?
We have a gentleman that has tentatively, he has accepted the contract. We just have to get approval from the board. So I probably should hold off on giving his name until we get the approval from the board, but it looks like we'll have somebody on board in a couple weeks.
But, you know, in the interim, you know, it has been run okay since the last executive director stepped down. I know for many years, Steve Boltice did a fine job of running the MCCC and the policy committee and running that. But it'd be nice to have somebody on board.
Yes, you're right. Our last director left in October, I believe it was, or September. So, yeah, we've been without somebody, but it's been working out well. The problem was we had a couple resignations in the meantime, so our staff was dwindling. But we did hire a new traffic planner, so he will be there. And the current one that was there, she was there for about a month and then left for a new job in Grand Rapids. So, it's been a tough go for the last several months, but we'll get through it, and we're looking forward to our new director coming on board.
For those who might be totally or somewhat unaware, maybe blissfully unaware of what the Makatawa Area Coordinating Council does, what exactly is its purpose and the importance in the community to the community for the MCCC?
Well, it's a number of communities in the area: Holland, Zeeland, Park Township, Holland Township, Fillmore Township, Port Sheldon Township, and Laketown Township. I think I've got them all. But we get together once a month, and we have an executive board, which I'm a part of, and that gets together once a month, and mostly it's about traffic planning, getting grants from the state, from MDOT, and seeing what projects can be done and which ones get the grants. They do the phaser rating every year or every couple of years. I'm not sure what it is, but they see what the condition of our roads are in. And it's something that's very useful for this area, and it's good to get all those townships and cities together. And we've been trying to do something more than planning. So that will be one of the directives for the new administrator, is to try to see, and we have all these townships and cities together to try to do more than just traffic planning.
And part of that may be more just traffic planning, and it's been done in the past about dealing with the Makatawa River and the Makatawa Greenway. I know there's a separate entity in that involved, but the MAC is also part of that interest to make sure that the Makatawa River gets cleaned up and the entire Greenway gets back to a very natural state, because for a while it hadn't been.
That's right. And yes, we work with the Auto Discovery Center, and we we worked hand in hand with them. We did have a person on the MAC that was in charge of the wetlands in the area in the county, but that got transferred over to the Outdoor Discovery Center as well. So yes, but we still are involved with it. So.
Kevin, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Zeeland. And first of all, the Sly building redevelopment. It looks like that is moving along very nicely.
Yes, we had a special meeting, planning commission meeting last week, Thursday, and they got the final okay to go ahead with that project. All the rezoning and their site development is all finalized. So after many years, we are going to have some development on the Sly building, and they'll be starting probably in March timeframe, and it will take probably about a year and a half to do. So by 2024, we'll have residents in the Sly building.
They're not saying GDK is handling it, but they're not saying how much it's going to cost them. But let's put it this way: at least it's going to see some. It's going to see some use, and let's put property to use in these areas.
That is right. It's been kind of an eyesore in our eastern gateway coming into town, and so yes, this will be a welcome development for our east gateway, and for the whole city in general. So when we have, they're planning on 40 apartments or right around 40 apartments, and so that's quite a few people that'll be close to our downtown, and they'll be able to shop and dine in our downtown, which will be a big plus for them.
Earlier last month, a building that is now not in use, the Christian Labor Association building, it looks as like that's going to be repurposed on the other side of Business 196.
Yes, we had somebody come forward and say they want to develop that, and it'll be office on the main floor. And if you know what that building looks like, it kind of looks like a walkout ranch. It has it's built up, and so the main floor will be office, and the bottom part of it is going to be ice cream shop. So which I think will be kind of cool, close to our timber town, and the Royal Park condos are there, so the seniors will have a place to walk to or ride to for ice cream in the evening. And it's going to be more than just ice cream. They plan on doing a park-like setting there, and they are planning on getting entertainment in there in the evenings every so often. And so yeah, it'll be a welcome addition to that part of not downtown, but our city.
Yeah. According to the reports I see from the Zeeland Record, Planning Commission meeting on Thursday, would be able to probably see this thing go forward. It could be a reality for the summer, so that would be kind of nice.
Yes, a gentleman that owns the House of Flavors in Ludington is proposing to open this up. So it's not anything new for him, and he's had success in Ludington. So hopefully it works out the same way here.
And you and I have discussed this in the past in previous conversations, Kevin, about the fact in building, renovating and working on Huizinga Park and the Timbertown project, the fact that there is a sense that that part of Zeeland is sort of detached from the rest of the town because of Business 196. Having that ice cream shop will at least start building a sense of community in that area, not just, you have Huizinga Park and you got Royal Park, but other than that, it's isolated a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why we've talked, you and I have talked about the business loop crossing, and maybe with the success of this building, maybe that will spur this on a little bit to get that business loop crossing going. And we talked about the MAC earlier, and the MAC is going to do a study on that, on the business loop crossing, not just in Zeeland, but along the whole length of the business loop, and to determine what areas need improvement and how we can do it and how we can work together to do it.
I'm not certain whether or not, it'd be more financially feasible if there's going to be some pedestrian crossings to have them over it or under it.
That is correct. It might be as simple as changing the crossing lights there. And that's what the study will tell us. And hopefully with the help of MDOT as well, that we can improve those crossings and make it a safer place and make the Royal Park area and Timbertown feel more a part of the city of Zeeland.
If you got a question for Zeeland Mayor Kevin Klynstra, he'll be happy to answer it at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. As we do this interview on February 1st, we do it with the backdrop of a winter weather advisory for Allegan and Ottawa counties. It'll go into effect at 2 a.m. on Wednesday until 11 p.m. on Thursday. Kevin, the reason why I'm bringing it up in our conversation, because it ties in with the design for the snowmelt for downtown Zeeland, another step in seeing that reality come to bear.
Yes, we are moving forward with that. We okayed the contracts with our engineers to start developing and getting the plans in order. And so things are moving forward on that. And hopefully I think our plans are to start that in the summer of 2023, but we have to get all the engineering done so we can get the bids out and by next spring.
Part of the work, obviously, is the obvious cost of actually putting this in, but also, just as a layman thinking out loud, Kevin, is the fact that this project, once it gets started, it's going to have to work around the fact that you want people in downtown Zeeland to be able to continue shopping and dining and spending, going to businesses in downtown Zeeland. But, let's put it this way, putting in snowmelt isn't the easiest thing in the world, and there's going to be some disruptions.
That is correct. And we went through this a number of years ago, and we redid our Main Street. And, it hurts the store owners. We realize that, but the back entrances will still be open. And our engineers have said that they'll work around it, that they'll try to keep the front doors open as well. It's not like we're doing the whole street, which is a plus. That will just be a mill and resurface. And so that won't take quite as long as it did a number of years ago when we redid the street and the sidewalks at the same time. So, and our engineers have said they'll do it piecemeal. We'll do one side of the street, then they'll do the other side of the street. They'll do a kind of block at a time. So everything won't be tore up at once, and people will still be able to get downtown, and they'll probably be able to park most of the time in our Main Street as well.
616-395-1450. Let's see if we have somebody who wants to chat with you. Good morning. You're on the line with Mayor Kevin Klynstra.
Morning. Can you tell us where that new ice cream place is going to be?
Yes, it's the Christian Labor Building, which has been there for a number of years. It's right by the Mast Heating Building, the Compassionate Heart Ministries Building, and right in that row. And like I said, it looks kind of like a walkout ranch, but it used to be, like I said, it was the Christian Labor Association building for quite a few years. So it's right along the business loop.
Now, are they going to have food there like the House of Flavors in Ludington?
Yes, it'll be that kind of ice cream. It probably won't have too much inside seating. It will be, at least what they're proposing now, will be outside seating. And it won't have a walk-up window. You'll be able to go in and get your ice cream, but you'll have to eat it outside.
Well, will you be able to get a hamburger there?
I don't think so. Not from the proposal I've seen.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the call. Since last we chatted, the Zeeland City Council met with city staffers, brainstorming session, working on the budget process and coming up with priorities and the like that the city staff will be able to work with in formulating a spending plan for fiscal 2023. Recapping that meeting, what were some of the key things that came out of it that you'd like to see addressed in the upcoming spending plan?
Well, this was pretty much just a goal-setting session. The first night we listened to staff what they needed or what they wanted. A lot of this is wants, and but they do express their needs as well. And we are urged by staff to think big, and not that all the big stuff will be okayed, but they reminded us of the splash pad and the snow melt and the 3 East Main project, or things that we've had goal settings that came up in the goal setting sessions in other years and came to fruition. So yeah, then the next night we did the process of writing down what we wanted, and then we voted on it. And so now staff knows what is our top priority. And at our next city council meeting, we'll be hearing what those are. And then I'm sure it'll take a couple city council meetings before that is all finalized. And then that will be brought up at our budget sessions back in the end of March.
Did city staff advise as to whether or not there's going to be any issue about needing to generate more revenue, or can things be done in 2023 basically while keeping taxes consistent and not raising taxes at all in the upcoming year?
Well, that was brought up, and that was probably one of the goals, is to if you remember, we lowered our millage rate by 1 mil for the pandemic, and to help get the business owners back on their feet and give them any help we could. But we are finding that things are costing more, like everything else. Our street projects are going way over our budget, or things, the money that we thought we were going to spend. So yeah, that was part of the goal setting, was to see if we should go back to our original millage before the pandemic, and add the 1 mil back. So yeah, that will be brought up at our next city council meeting, and see once where it goes from there.
And certainly, yes, you want to think big and be able to do a lot of good things, but you only have to work. You only can work with the money you have at hand, and unless it's a pretty big project, I have a funny feeling people aren't going to be too pleased if you want to do something, and then they're going to have to pay a little bit more for it.
Right, you are correct. You just have to remember that we set the original budget the way it was a number of years ago for a reason. That's how much it costs to run the city. So we were fortunate that we could do it with the 1 mil less, but we are finding that we probably will have to raise it back up to that original millage we had before the pandemic.
Zeeland Mayor Kevin Klynstra, as always, we appreciate the time that you spend with us on a monthly basis to talk about things going on in Zeeland. Wish you and everyone in Zeeland well, and the city staff and the city hall and the council. And if all goes well, let's do this again next month, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you very much, Kevin Klynstra, 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.